Now at 4, I'm meteorologist Angela Buckman, live at the Indianapolis Zoo for ZooBoo. I am working on my potion and the forecast for the weekend.
Oh, so fun, Angela. Well, help could be coming for the hundreds of thousands of Hoosiers who rely on SNAP. I'm Jenna Webster, what a judge is now saying, plus we're breaking down what SNAP looks like here in Indiana.
And the president has a new plan. His directive to the Senate to end this 31-day government shutdown. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News. Good afternoon, happy Friday, happy Halloween. I'm Anne Marie.
And I'm Samantha Johnson. Dustin and Felicia are off this afternoon. So is Sean Ash, but we saw Angela Buckman. She's got the best assignment of the day.
That's right. She's live out at the zoo right now. A beautiful day for it. And you couldn't have really ordered a better forecast, Angela.
Not at all, Sam and Ann. And I will, full disclosure, I have a sweater on and I have a long sleeve underneath. No coat yet, which is good news if you're preparing your little ones for trick-or-treating this evening. Speaking of little ones, I just love, look at the dancing. We've got a few from Toy Story. The DJ will be going on and all the fun through 9 o'clock tonight. This is ZooBoo out at the Indianapolis Zoo. I spotted dinosaur. Ooh, Jurassic Park crew. I love the fact that all ages get involved and get dressed up. We're having a good time here tonight, and the weather is going to be fantastic. By the way, if you can't come out tonight, it runs tomorrow 2 to 7 and again on Sunday 2 to 7, and this is the last weekend for ZooBoo. Let's get you caught up on the forecast for tonight. Pretty comfortable right now. Temperatures are sitting in the middle and upper 50s, and that's where we will stay for the next couple of hours. Remember, sunset happens at about 6:45 or so. As we get into our forecast for not only tonight, but the weekend as well. Tomorrow, we're expecting a mix of sun and clouds and high temperatures, a little cooler than today. That'll put us in the low to mid 50s. We'll be dealing with a little weather system over the weekend that will bring us at least a few clouds and the chance for a sprinkle under some of those thicker clouds. Otherwise, looks like a fairly typical fall weekend as we end October and start the month of November. I can't believe it. But we've got lots of kids out here, so we're going to take you throughout the zoo over the next 2.5, 3 hours, so don't go anywhere.
All right, Angela, so much fun. So much fun. Perfect evening to be out there. We'll check back in with you in just a little bit. Well, also this afternoon, just 2 hours ago, the 2 federal judges ordered President Trump's administration to use a contingency fund to help pay for SNAP benefits. Those benefit payments, they were set to lapse tomorrow if the government shutdown continues.
Millions of people all across the country could still face delays to their benefits. However, the administration has now until Monday to let the judge know if they're going to do this. This is a lot to process. Jenna Webster joins us now live in studio to break down the impact of SNAP and who benefits here in the state of Indiana.
Yeah, so the way Indiana handles paying out those EBT, those SNAP benefits, they start on the 5th of the month. So there is a little bit of time depending on, what happens with this lawsuit, what the Trump administration decides to do. But for weeks now, we've been talking about how this is 600,000 people in Indiana who rely on these SNAP benefits. So I wanted to give you guys some context into what this actually means. And this map is going to help us. The USDA tracks who is using SNAP. And this map, it shows it based on congressional district in Indiana. This is using data from 2023. So District 7 here in Marion County has the largest share of households participating in SNAP. In 2023, that was some 34,000 households, or just shy of 11% of the population. And those households, about 41% have a child, 34% are home to an elderly person, and 49% a person with a disability. Now, to be eligible for SNAP in Indiana, you have to be 130% of the federal poverty level. So a single person on SNAP can't make more than $1,600 a month, and it's about $3,300 for a family of 4. Many people between 18 and 54 years old who don't have a child or a disability can only receive SNAP benefits 3 months out of every 3 years, no matter their income. So that's kind of a lot of information, but just wanted to help explain who these 600,000 people in our state are.
That is just a very large number, Jenna, and so many people concerned because food insecurity is a top concern for family health and well-being.
And we know that's something that's really been rising in our area too lately.
Right. All right. I know your coverage continues on some of the efforts that are underway right now as our news continues ahead at 5. Jenna Webster, thank you. So right now, President Trump is calling on the Senate to scrap the filibuster. That way, the GOP majority can bypass Democrats and reopen the shutdown federal government.
The president called getting rid of that 60-vote threshold in the Senate the nuclear option. Ryan Nobles has the latest this afternoon from Washington.
Fresh off his overseas trip, President Trump this morning putting pressure on Republicans to end the shutdown. Posting overnight, it's now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card, calling for an approach they've resisted so far, the so-called nuclear option, which would allow Republicans to pass bills with a simple majority rather than the 60 votes which requires them to work with Democrats. Both sides have been resistant to that move in the past, fearing it gives the majority party too much power.
The 60-vote threshold has protected this country.
It comes as the shutdown is now entering its 31st day. Members of the military were set to miss a paycheck today, but the White House announcing it will move around $5 billion in federal funds to make sure they're still paid. Still, many federal workers struggling, some filing for unemployment for the first time, with more than 8,800 filed new claims last week alone, according to the Labor Department data reviewed by NBC News. Food banks in demand in Washington, D.C. and throughout the country. At the stroke of midnight on Saturday, the federal government is scheduled to halt all SNAP food assistance.
Without SNAP, it's going to be hard to find food that's able to feed us.
It's a problem members of Congress recognize, but fail to have an answer for.
You're messing with people's lives. That is outrageous.
Instead, the two sides engaged in a high-stakes blame game. Democrats pushing to pass a standalone bill to extend SNAP benefits, arguing the administration must release billions in already approved contingency funds. Republicans dismissing the bill as political theater, but Democrats argue that the country is on the verge of a healthcare crisis, and backing down will cause even more damage.
The talks will go nowhere if Republicans remain completely intransigent and resistant to any compromise on extending the health care coverage.
Next year is an important midterm election with control of Congress hanging in the balance, but also control of the Indiana Secretary of State's office. Republican Diego Morales is the sitting Secretary of State and will run for another term, but a new face with a familiar name has now thrown his hat into the race on the Democratic side. Dustin Grove sat down with Bo Bai for this week's Crossroads Politics to talk about his decision to follow in his family's footsteps and why he says now is the right time.
At 29, you are relatively young to run for statewide office. First race for elected office?
First race.
How do you address the lack of experience?
Yeah, well, you know, I think people are hungry for younger folks to get involved in politics and in our government, and I really don't think I have a lack of experience. I was a Marine Corps officer, and I was in charge of a lot of Marines. I was an infantry officer, so training them for combat operations, taking care of them, being their financial advisor, and mentoring them. So I had a lot of experience managing people and leading people. That's all that we should look for out of our elected officials. How do you take a group in the Marine Corps, for example? The Marines in my unit came from all different walks of life, all different political backgrounds. How do you orient a group like that toward a common mission? And I hope to bring that experience to this office. I'm also a lawyer. One of the responsibilities of the Secretary of State's office is handling securities investigations. I've done that on the federal level, adjudicating complex securities fraud cases. So I have enough experience.
So you can watch the entire interview between Dustin and Bo Bai on Crossroads Politics. That's Sunday morning at 10, or you can stream that anytime on demand on our streaming app, WTHR Plus.
4:09, and we want to take you live now to the eastern part of the state where there is a big backup along I-70. So what you're looking at here is a live picture. This is the I-70 westbound lane. So these are the lanes headed into Indianapolis, out near Richmond, and they're shut down near State Road 1. This is in Wayne County. We are told that all lanes right now are closed in that area because of a crash right now. This is 8 miles west of Centerville between Indiana 1 and Brick Church Road. So again, a big backup there, and you can see all those orange cones. So already slow in this area because of construction, and now we have an accident. So as they work to clean up that area, you might want to reroute if you are headed into Indianapolis on I-70 westbound near Richmond. Other news now, Purdue University researchers believe that nuclear energy could be the best solution for Indiana's growing demand for electricity.
In fact, next week, Purdue is hosting the Global Nuclear Energy Economic Summit on the West Lafayette campus. Purdue has the state's only nuclear reactor, a very small one, but the research being done with it plays a big role in the development of small modular reactors.
These next generation nuclear power plants could replace retiring coal burning plants that are all across Indiana.
Nuclear energy has a lot of benefits. First of all, it's very environmental friendly. It provides a lot of energy in a small footprint, so it doesn't take too much space. It's a form of energy that we know very, very well.
In his video invitation at the summit, the governor says that his goal is for Indiana to have a nuclear power plant within 8 years. Our coverage continues ahead here tonight at 5 here on 13 News as our Rich Nye takes us to Purdue to take a closer look at the reactor and the energy research being done there on campus right now. Meantime, coming up, the damage is done. We're getting a look now at the mess that Melissa made in Jamaica, and we're also getting an update on the extensive damage there.
Plus, honors, titles, and home all stripped away. We're learning about King Charles's actions against his brother in the wake of the Epstein scandal. That's still ahead.